Hey there, you guys. So, this is my August TBR. The number just keeps growing because I can't get on top of it apparently. So, first things first, before I get into my Rick Riordan TBR for the month, I want to go over the two other books that are not in that reread that I will be reading this month. The first, I got about a third, just under halfway through this in July by listening to the audiobook, and that is Delirium by Lauren Oliver. It had been so long since I heard the TBR, heard the synopsis. Two very different things. Since I had heard the synopsis, so I had kind of forgotten what it was about. I just knew that I knew it sounded good, and I knew that I liked Lauren Oliver's writing, so picking this up was kind of a no-brainer. When I picked it up almost a year ago now, over a year ago now, I think. It's been a while. And I'm actually really enjoying it. I've got like, that's not right. I've got like 300 pages left, 250 pages left, somewhere in there. I'm about halfway, just under halfway through it, and I'm enjoying it so far, and I'm continuing to listen to the audiobook right now. I've got it loaned out for another like week or so, I think, so I'll definitely be able to finish this month, for sure, which is really fun, and knowing that I can actually finish a book this month. The other book that I should be getting to this month is Winter by Marissa Meyer. I already have a bookmark in there just to kind of encourage me. This is the August pick for Kat and I. We wanted to get through the Learner Chronicles series first. We will not be reading Stars Above as part of our read of the series, just because Stars Above is just a series of novellas based around the series. I might pick it up later, but it's not something that's a necessity for right now. Within our read, we had to read Fairest last month because it was part of it. According to Goodreads as well, it's listed as a part of the series. It takes place in between, and was released plot-wise in between Cress and Winter, and it gave a really, really good backstory, I think, to help lead into this story as well, which I'm excited to get to this month as well. I will probably be listening to the audiobook of this as well. I said this in my last video, but I'm really, really enjoying the audiobook, I don't even know, auditor. The person reading the audiobook for the Lunar Chronicle series, I really, really like her reading and her enunciation and stuff. It's really fun to listen to. The lady who reads Delirium is a little bit harder to understand. I can't listen to her speech as fast as I can. The person reading the Lunar Chronicles, just because her words are already so fast and mumbled together a little bit, listening to it on 1.5, but I can listen to the Lunar Chronicles on 1.75, which is nice. But yeah, so anyways, now to get into the next 5 books that I have on my TBR for the month. So I did actually have a chance to start this. I'm about 1/4 of the way, 1/5 of the way through it, which is nice, having some strides. I'm definitely finishing this month, so I'll at least finish 3 books this month, one of them being this. And I really, really hope that I can get into The Last Olympian this month and finish it. Then I can at least start getting on top of my reread TBR and the fact that I'm so flipping behind. I was supposed to read this book back in May. It's August. So, I know I've said this before, but I'm definitely getting to these 2 books this month for sure within the reread. The next book after that, in terms of how I'm working my reread, just because I want to reread / read all of Rick Riordan's books, The next one is Percy Jackson's Greek Gods, which I think I'm going to try and find the ebook version of this to read this time around, just because it's such a massive book, especially if I want to read it before going to bed, or read it like if I were to go to like Panera or the library. I don't want to take this book with me because it's like textbook size. But I really hope I can at least get a few of these read this month, if not reread this whole book this month as well. The next two books, with having those three and then also having Delirium and Winter, I'm not as concerned about getting to these final two. If I at least finish those three, at least the first two, I'll at least be one book ahead of and not continue falling behind. The next book is actually a first time read, and that is Percy Jackson's Greek Heroes. I never actually got to reading this. I read like the first one when I first got the book, but after that I didn't read any of these. So I'm looking forward to reading this for the first time. It's been long enough since I've read even Greek Gods that I don't really remember the story and how they told it, which is exciting to kind of reread it and kind of be reading it for the first time. The Percy Jackson series, I've read that so many times that rereading those, it's not a big deal. And then finally, the actual August reread book for this month is The Lost Hero by Rick Riordan, the first in the Heroes of Olympus series. So as a recap, my goal for this year is to get through all of the Percy Jackson original story arc stuff, and then next year is where I kind of get into all of the other ones. So I'll be rereading the Kane Chronicles, I'll be reading the Magnus Chase series, as well as the new Greek Gods world with Apollo being the main character, which is called Trials of Apollo. So yeah, I have a lot of books on my TBR for the month. I'm feeling hopeful. I was able to, if you guys didn't catch my last video, I was able to, just this past weekend, go to Panera and just sit down and have lunch and just read a few chapters of a book, and that was really fun, and just kind of a way to get out of the house and read. Not that I can't read while I'm here, but my laptop and my phone are so near me that I might as well just watch a YouTube video or just sit and watch Netflix. So I think getting out of the house, going to the park, going to Panera, going to the library, something to get me out of the house. Excuse me. And reading is helpful for myself. Listening to audiobooks is something that's also really helped me to be able to listen to books when they're not the main focus. That's how I finished Goblet of Fire back in May, somewhere in there is when I finished Goblet of Fire. But that's how I did it. I was listening to the audiobook of it. And it's kind of just a way for me to listen to a book versus sitting down and reading it, because sitting down and reading, for some reason in my head, seems, I don't know, the attention span for it all the time, which is sad because I used to be able to just sit down and read a book for a day, and I still can. I just have to be in the right mindset to do it. So anyways, that's my TBR for the month. Fingers crossed that actually happens this month. Depending, I might do more videos this month. Otherwise, I will be back for my wrap up. If you want to know some life updates on me, go ahead and watch my last video if you haven't already. Kind of gives you a lowdown on what I have in store for the fall, within my life, and where I'll be at with booktube and things like that. So anyways, that's it for this video today, guys, and I'll see you guys on my next video. Goodbye!